said, not being part of Erasmus. And this is going to be interesting because we have data on other non-Erasmus traineeships and how does it work. I think it was the last, Bianca, or not? Let's see. Okay. In your opinion, and this should be the last, what are the most important aspects that need to be improved? And these are some of them, and you can rank them. This is actually a ranking exercise. So from the one that you think is most important to the least. So you can take some minutes. Even if you take less with the slides, it's fine, because I think it's very interesting to know. You have, for example, is it the application process? Is it support from universities should really improve? Clarity and transparency, and so on. Let's see, now the results are coming in. You have financial support, we just read that one. Recognition, some of you voted about the recognition. 11 people are still voting, it's fine. Okay, let's see who takes the top. Which takes the top? Okay. I think it's almost consolidated. Just a couple of people are left. So unless it changes, we're going to have the financial support and transparency of funding allocation. Let's see if this changes anything, but I don't think one more person is ranking. But it's fine. So the financial support, then the application process, and the top three is support from universities, but it was very tight with communication between host companies and trainees, and finally the recognition and validation of traineeships. Maybe there were some others, but we can maybe focus on these top four because they're visible. So financial support, application, support from unis, and then communicating between the trainees and the companies. So if this was the last, I will go to the slides now. So let's wait for some switching. Okay, yeah. So just again as an overview, to remind what are Erasmus traineeships. So a traineeship, okay, in an enterprise, it can be also a research institute, a laboratory, or an organization, or any other relevant workplace is where you go. Okay, that's pretty self-evident. It's supporting during your studies at any study cycle, or also for recent graduates. Right after you graduate, you have some time, and you can apply and go for an Erasmus traineeship. It includes teaching assistantships as well. And also it is a full-time work, okay? And it's based on what the receiving organization we want to do. So we can go to the next one. So without going into the detail of the financial side, just bear in mind that you have an additional top-up for this of 150, and in case of people with fewer opportunities, it goes up to 250 more. Fewer opportunities, for example, people with disabilities or people from disadvantaged backgrounds of any sort, especially like economic ones, etc. And this is just an extra thing that you have if you go to a traineeship, and then maybe I can do it. Yeah. Okay. So this is the traineeships. Of course, are an important tool. Okay. For youth, the job aspect is very important, and this means that it has a strong policy component. Okay. And this is just one example on the top. You have a quality framework that was created to assess how traineeships are working, using data that is collected from a statistics point of view. And then you have something important as a KPI, which is this document here, European Strategy for Universities. And here it references this KPI of having 100K Erasmus interns per year going basically to a traineeship. Okay? This is an ambitious goal, but it's very realistic if we look at the overall data. And it's very advantageous because there are many benefits of going to a traineeship. And one of the things that it does, of course, is boosting your skills, having access already to the job market, starting to do your first experiences, which are then not only recognizable, but you can spend them. It's considered full-fledged work experience. And the fact that there is this context where you can do it, rather than doing it wholly manually, like actually sending a CV, asking for an internship, you have organizations have conventions and agreements, it's very useful. Oh, so we did, with the recent ESM survey, we probed a bit the opinions related to why people go to mobility. And then the one on the top, which is the pink, is Erasmus for study, so people that go for a study abroad. And then you have the traineeship, which is on the bottom one for each voice. So if you see the top reasons that people go to mobility, but in this case I would focus on the traineeship ones. We see, for example, to experience learning environments, to meet new people. A high one is also to enhance future career prospects in their home country or abroad, developing skills, in this case soft ones, and developing a professional or personal network. Okay, so this is higher in reality when it comes to traineeship because the interests are different. Okay, so this is very interesting. And then with more data, when it comes to satisfaction, with the ESN survey, we compared levels of satisfaction before and after COVID in relation to both mobilities and traineeships. So as you can see, there was a bit of a relevant drop here in satisfaction during COVID compared to before COVID. But also before COVID in general, the levels of satisfaction were higher for the mobility rather than compared to the trainees. So trainees that would go even in a non-COVID context, they were still less satisfied, okay, with the social life. It's not in general with the experience, the social life. And we know, I mean, if you go to Erasmus, you have the buddy system, you have this, you have that, you have welcome days, for example, ESN. But trainees, it's different for them. They have a harder, it's more difficult for them to have a network or even just to get in touch because they're focused on the work and then it's complicated, okay? And this is just to give you like a bit of a flavor before we go to our guests' presentations. This one is, and actually I will go to the next one, but just to explain how this graph works, just looking at the colors without going into detail, this dark blue, and I mean, I don't know if anyone is colorblind, it's basically in this case the one that has most percentage, the highest percentage, is people that go abroad to study with the Erasmus program. And then the rest is basically other EU programs, other program, independent. This we know, like it's very good, okay, Erasmus, very successful, and so on and so forth. This is taken from the Euro Student Report. But if we go to traineeship, oh, changed. Like what happened, you know? Okay, it makes sense, you know? Many people go from an independently organized one. But this is still a Euro Student Report, you know? It's not just we're not getting, okay, random people to ask. We're asking the student, how do they go into traineeship? So there is a lot of maneuver and space for Erasmus traineeship to help these people. We're not talking about people that either go to other EU programs, which is fine, or other program, which is fine. We're talking about independently organized. And people have no program supporting them in this case. They have to apply in other ways, and it's not like there is no space. There is an intention by the Commission in this case to increase the numbers. Okay, so this means that there is a lot of work to bring down these barriers and help even all of this come up, and specifically the Erasmus Plus and the EU programs. Okay, so this is a very stark difference compared to mobility, where I have to say it's nice, it makes sense. And then the experiences of participants, we already read this. More interest in career development, more satisfaction with social life before the pandemic, but still less compared to student week activities. Okay, or body systems, and this we've seen it. This is why they're less satisfied as well. But it's not just about intentions. Maybe it's about, okay, how do I do it? Maybe people did not go to a mobility and just went for a traineeship and so on, and then they have this need to have more networking. Let's see if I can make it work. Okay, so this is just an overview. We're gonna check a bit the erasmusintern.org portal, which Bianca is going to present, and then we're going to have our speakers, and then we're going to have a group work. Okay? And there you go. You need this?
No, I'm going to go very, very fast because it is exactly what I said earlier in the plenary room. This is just a recap because some of you might not have been there, so let's go very, very fast through it. Erasmusintern.org is the platform that ESN developed under this project, Story. I don't remember what acronym stands for, but and we call it the Story Project, and was developed to facilitate the access of students to internships, students and fresh graduates now to Erasmus traineeships. That means that the companies that already post an internship or a traineeship there, they already know what student they are looking for. They already know that they have to go to the process of the learning agreement, of evaluating the student experience and so on. So they already know why they are posting on that platform. This means that the students also get the internships that are directly for them without having to research if the company is going to accept a traineeship with Erasmus Plus, that they are willing to do the agreement with university and all these other extra steps. Everyone knows in Erasmus.org how things are going and what they have to do. This is why we think it's very good platform for traineeships, and this is why we're continue working on improving it. We are working on a new project on improving the platform and many more. So going through it, how does it work for students? You get connected, you stay up to date with all the traineeships and internships. You can search for and find directly in the platform. You can fill in your CV, you can write a motivation letter and the application directly there, and you can pull all your skills into action. Okay, going for for the second stakeholder for companies, they can publish these offers, they can see this, all the offers that they publish are seen by all students. They are sorted and filtered by the study field, the study level, bachelor, master's, doctorate, and so on. And they can also check all the applications. This is technical features, and what is making it easier, and we hope it's making it easier, it's for the higher education institution. We hope that it helps them smoother the process with less back and forth, without having to send that many documents less and forth, and having the students know what they're going to get. And well, what's our role in this? As I said, we continue improving this platform, we continue working on it. It had last year in 2022 over 27,000 internships posted there, and we hope we are contributing to the KPI of reaching 100,000 Erasmus Plus trainees. And this is it. Thank you very much for it. I hope I didn't bore you, and I'm going to pass the imaginary mic back to Sabri.
Yeah. Okay. So now, just as a reference for this portal, it was very nice for the ESN network, for the ESN, because we built it, we worked on it, and then it's like officially referenced and mentioned in the official portals of the Commission. You know, this is a very, very great result because it comes for students. It was co-created with the Commission, making sure, it was supported by them. We made sure that it's good quality. We have plans to improve it. And to get more funds to boost it and to do more work on this in the coming, hopefully next year. Let's see how it goes. Okay, but otherwise it's gonna be it's very useful tool, and it's the main tool that the Commission references in this case. Okay, there are other ways of doing it. Of course, you can go directly through your IROP, the International Relation Office of your university. But using this tool, I think it's gonna be nice, and it's gonna be improved. We already have areas we did a scan, and we know how to improve it. Having said this, we're going to have first, as a lineup, Ms. Nicoletta Popa. She's coordinator of the Higher Education Department, and of what, of course, of the Erasmus Plus National Agency in Romania. So yeah, you can start to come, we'll prepare your presentation, and she's going to talk to us about traineeship from a program and policy perspective. That's what's going to happen. So we have 7 minutes, and then we're going to get a couple of questions, and we're going to go through our speakers.
Thank you both. So let's slide. Great. Thank you, Bianca. And thank you, Sabri, for the introduction and what you have already presented about the Erasmus Plus traineeships, because we might be overlapping just a bit with the information, but I will not repeat it. So, yes, I come from the Erasmus Plus National Agency. I am not alone. I have undercover agents in the room, so I will point them out so that you don't find out by the end. So together with me we have Luana there in the back, and Valentina, yes, and Mihai here in front. So hopefully, we can join you in the discussions in the groups later on, and see how it goes. I am also an undercover ESNer, because a long time ago I was on Erasmus myself on study mobility, not traineeship. At that time, these weren't as popular as they have become nowadays. And back in 2009, usually it was once in a lifetime that you can get an Erasmus experience. But now, of course, you can go on multiple mobilities, and that is a great benefit, I think, for all the participants that are interested to go again and again and again on mobility. So, what I want to share, just a bit of background information. Now, I'm sure you are already familiar. Can you show hands if we've seen earlier, right? There are beginners in Erasmus Plus traineeship. So I will go through some of the basic details. I don't want to overweigh you with too many technical details, because that is what we deal with every day almost. But just, you know, to get a brief understanding about the traineeships, so that it's on. When we talk about Erasmus Plus traineeships, we know them also as work placements, as internships perhaps, depending on what the most, let's say, used or preferred term it is. But this is the same thing, Erasmus Plus traineeships, internships, and so on. Students can go on traineeship mobility at any study cycle, bachelor, master's, doctoral degree, and also in any study field. There are no restrictions this program imposes, let's say, on this condition. You can also go as a student during your studies, so within a study program that you are taking currently, but also within 12 months after graduation, and that is what the Erasmus Plus program calls recent graduates. So Erasmus traineeships for recent graduates. You have to be selected within the last year of studies, let's say, while you are still a student of that study program. But from the day that you graduate, and we mean, of course, pass all the exams and defend your thesis and so on, and you are declared, thankfully, a graduate of that study program, you have 12 months from that day to go on an Erasmus Plus traineeship. And of course, you can go to any country in the world. With the new Erasmus Plus program, you know, the mobility projects, the intra, you are open to outgoing mobility to any country in the world. Of course, any country is a possibility, but it also depends on the university and how they split the funding, because the main funding has between the program countries, so the 33 program countries of the Erasmus Plus program. But apart from those, they have a limited budget, 20% of the main budget, so they can fund outgoing mobility to any country in the world. So that is really, really important. And of course, where can you do this traineeship? Who can be the host organization? It can be any relevant workplace for the student, for the study program, let's say the study development that they go through. Either public institutions from abroad, private entities, companies, of course, research institutes, NGOs, foundations. It can be any relevant workplace that you can find that can host you. Of course, does anyone know what, let's say, institutions are not allowed?
European institutions?
Yes, European institutions. And why is that?
Because the fundings are Europeans, maybe?
Very good. You're an expert.
Can I add one question regarding this? So no European institution, but what if the European institution can offer the internship but not paid? So this way it's not funded by...
No, it's still not allowed within Erasmus Plus. So it can be a separate internship, but not within Erasmus Plus. But yes, it is a matter basically of the risk of double funding and, you know, having EU funding involved. So I was talking about the host institution, but of course there always has to be a sending higher education institution. They have to, you know, have the Erasmus charter so that they are able to have Erasmus Plus projects. So they have to select the participants and send them on mobility to a receiving organization from a different country. You cannot go on Erasmus Plus within the same country that you are studying in, or where the sending university is found. But in some cases, of course, to support better organization and practical, let's say, matters related to organizing traineeships, there can also be intermediary organization. Intermediary organization, of course, that helps the students perhaps to find the placement, the workplace, or the host organization, offer support, and so on. Okay. Then, what are more about the traineeship mobilities? Starting with the new Erasmus Plus program in 2021, they can still be, of course, encouraged in a physical format. So you travel to another country, you dive into the society, the culture, and everything, you know, the work life over there. And this is, of course, the best type of experience. But to support physical mobilities, the Commission has introduced also the blended format. So you have the physical mobility of a certain duration, but you can combine it with a virtual component, a virtual, let's say, period of time where the activities can be done remotely from your home country, so from your place of origin. Now, there is, of course, a possibility to combine traineeship with a study mobility. They can be, let's say, you can have the study mobility first, and after you finish, let's say, the 5 months of study mobility, you can continue with a couple of months more of traineeship. Or you can do them simultaneously, so at the same time do the study mobility and also have activities that involve, you know, they are suited for traineeship mobility. The only thing is that it's set for study mobility, so not the one with the added top-up for the traineeship, but there is this possibility to combine them this way. Now, of course, we still have long-term durations for mobility from 2 months to 12 months. But again, since 2021, we also have short-term mobilities that are, of course, encouraged to take place in a blended format, so that you have from 5 to 30 days physical format mobility, and you add a virtual component, of course, a virtual period of time with virtual activities. But both long-term and short-term durations can take place in a blended format. So this is just the minimum duration for physical format of the mobility. Of course, you get the Erasmus Plus grant from EU financing, and this is, I think there was a matter earlier on related to calculating the grant, to make it more transparent and to, I don't know, improve the transparency and the calculation. But of course, this depends on the duration. You know, there are different grants for long-term durations by months and short-term durations where you have the grant by days. Of course, you have the top-up for traineeship depending on the country where you go to. This is applied for mobilities going to one country, one Erasmus Plus program country, to one of the other 32 program countries. So you have this top-up. But if you go to a partner country, so all the countries around the world, you will not have this added 150 euro top-up for traineeship. Now, of course, calculating the Erasmus Plus grant depends on the duration, as I told you. There is a condition for universities to fund the minimum eligible period of mobility, so either, let's say, 5 days or 2 months, depending on if it's a short-term duration or a long-term duration. And it can be combined with zero grant periods of time, so that, you know, in such cases, perhaps it is a solution for some mobilities. It can also be fully non-funded mobility, so a zero grant mobility. And last but not least, the receiving organization can also offer a financial support or a contribution in kind to the trainee. So some companies, let's say, they want to reward perhaps the trainees with some funding that they have. And as long as it's not EU funding as well, you know, to reach this idea of double funding from EU funds, as long as it's not EU funding, it is compatible with the grant. And it depends, you know, of course, on they offer it and how exactly they offer it. Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, I can.
Yes, one back.
Okay.
And, well, this year, you've already heard about the fact that this year is dedicated to the European Year of Skills. The skills and all the experiences that help young people, help students develop their skills. When we talk about traineeships, of course, their main purpose is to enhance employability, especially after graduation, so that you start working, as soon as possible and in an area of work that is suitable for the study and the preparation that you have, to improve career prospects and, of course, to increase the sense of initiative and entrepreneurship. Because you might get a really smart and nice idea during business. Of course, we are talking about skills, a lot of skills, transversal skills, forward-looking skills, skills, of course, or things related to personal development, because it's a good experience to develop yourself personally as well as professionally. And you might know, of course, that in Erasmus Plus there is also this category of digital opportunities traineeships, DOT, that are highly encouraged. And in order to have this label for the traineeship you're undertaking, you have, of course, to have one of the activities that the Erasmus Plus program describes. I don't know, really advanced things that are with, let's say, digital skills that you develop. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, of course, we have the Erasmusintern.org, which is a very good platform. And since it has been implemented by the Erasmus Student Network and, well, the consortium, right, of the Story project, we have been encouraging universities to promote it and to use it to help students and help universities as well and companies to get in touch and organize more and more traineeships and of better quality. Now, I have one thing, of course, because I was talking about skills, competences, abilities, there are many, many that you develop during the mobility. So I found this really nice image with 30 of them. So I said, you got to catch them all. Let me see if you find yourself in all of them, if you've developed them during your mobilities or your volunteering experience, perhaps, because this is also really important. So, anyone went through all of them?
Not really.
No? Have you made friends in, are you able to make friends in any environment?
Of course.
Communicate through body language, huh?
I mean, if you went to
mend your clothes, perhaps. You don't know how to sew a button. Oh. Okay.
Apologizing sincerely is pretty interesting.
Look, I can speak many other languages, so I can tell you this is Japanese. Does anyone know? Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Hi. Yes. Let me see. We have more. We have some more of them. Oh, cook basic meals. You've learned that during Erasmus, right? Public speaking. Huh?
Sticking to a budget.
Sticking to a budget. Yes. Yes. Okay. We have some more. Waking up on time. Still sleeping. Picking up a date? Maybe after EGM? Okay. And last one. This is not kissing the date, this is performing CPR. Oh. Okay. Power napping? Hmm?
No, that doesn't exist.
No? Giving a good handshake. Let me see. Does anyone know how to give a good handshake? No one. Come on, give a handshake to the person next to you. Let me see that.
With COVID, it was
very good. Oh, yes. Okay, well, if you don't have them all, I still encourage you to catch them all and work on it, because, from non-formal education, this is also very important. So some of them, of course, you will develop them like this. Now, one more. So, statistics, yay! No, just a final, let me call it like a final wave goodbye from myself. These are some of the results that we've seen in Erasmus Plus student mobilities. These are up to 2020. This is the fact sheet that the European Commission has prepared. And of course, you can see that we have a growing number of mobilities. The pandemic affected that number of student mobilities, unfortunately, but we are starting to feel the rise coming back up again. But you can see that in terms of outgoing students, we had more student mobility. So the blue ones are study mobilities and the pink ones are traineeship mobilities. So of course we had more study mobilities in the previous years, but the number of traineeship mobilities have started to grow, and you can see that they've already surpassed the study mobilities before the pandemic. Now, in terms of incoming mobilities, we have more study mobilities than traineeships, so we need to attract more international students to come on traineeship mobility to Romania. But of course, you know, we see them in terms of the requests that we receive from universities, so more and more traineeships are becoming the choice for students. Of course, you can do multiple experience, that's also really important. But I think they are more and more appreciated by our students, and of course we look forward to growing these numbers with the support of the Erasmus Student Network. So, thank you. I think that was all from my side. If you have any questions, we'll be here.
If you have 1-2 questions, you can
yes,
talk
quick questions.
And then if not, we're also gonna have a group work, so maybe you can mingle there. So we also save some time. But if you have one question, you can go.
No questions.
No questions.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Perfect, because it was all clear, right?
So we've seen now the perspective of the institutional perspective. Now we see the perspective of higher education institutions, and we have Ms. Teodora Fulga, head of Erasmus Plus office of the Bucharest Universities of Economic Studies, and she's going to talk to us about basically the perspective of traineeships and internships from the point of view of universities. So,
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Okay. So again, my name is Teodora. I started working at the Erasmus office 7 years ago. And the first task I received from my boss back then was like this amount of paper, and she said, these are the applications for traineeship. I was like, really? What is that? You are smart girl, you will figure it out. So I started from that, okay? Like from scratch. Let's see what the guide tells us and start reading what it's about. And then I discovered, after working like 1 year, 2 years in the traineeship, I was a PhD student, I said, but why not me? I mean, I can also go. I help all the students to go abroad. I should also take the opportunity. And then I decided, okay, it's time also for me to go in a traineeship, and I did actually too. And recently, I became the head of the Erasmus office. We are a small team, but I think we are also friends besides being colleagues at work. So today I will structure a little bit my talk on 4 topics. And I will tell you a little bit about how we have this bureaucratic system in our university, how we try to promote this type of mobilities, what we found out from our students, what are their challenges, and what solutions we try to implement. And of course, a little bit of numbers when it comes to the feedback, what we get from the students. Okay, so about the management part, we can move a little bit forward. I try to present like a mirror, first what the student does in our university in order to fully do the application and everything until the end of the mobility. So first step is to find an internship. Of course, we have also some places from them. We have some partnerships, and we want to promote those mobilities. But any student that finds an internship, it's very well. So we accept everything they find if the organization is eligible. Submitting an application, it's basically just some documents plus the like invitation letter and learning agreement for traineeship that are compulsory. But let's say it's very easy. We don't have actually a selection process when it comes, I don't know, interview or I don't know, to test their language skills, because we think if the organization decided they are good to go, that means that they have the language skills and the organization. So it's pointless to have, you know, like double check the same student. Step 3, of course, they are selected financial contract, the language support they have from the program, and we give them access to everything. So prepare them a little bit about the departure, and they receive the money from us. And step 5, the step they like the most, being there. I hope this is what they enjoy more. And step 6, of course, the formalities they have to do in order to receive the second part of the grant. When it comes to what we do, is promote. And to promote for us is important, and we try to have the promotion like at least once per month, like a meeting with them. It could be physically, it could be online, but we like to promote because we know this helps a lot, because you know this barrier, what should I do? And it's like, okay, we have also other students who took part in this kind of mobility, so explain them that it's not so hard. We have a lot of pocket guides. If you enter our university, you will find a lot of QR codes, and you can scan them and find a presentation about the Erasmus program, how it works in our universities, a lot of posters. We also have a colleague that she's very dedicated about this promotion, and all the time she has very funny ideas about how to make a poster and how to promote, and she takes care about our Instagram page. So I will just show you briefly. Of course, we show pictures, like beautiful pictures. Okay, and also we have, these are some of the flyers. Next one, it's one I like the most, is Erasmus on Mars, because our students want to go everywhere. So we thought that will be the next step for the Erasmus program.
We're getting there.
It's to be on Mars. And one student asked me, yes, on Mars, but can I go with Bruno Mars maybe there? And you never know. Okay, so this will be kind of how we promote. And okay, we have also a lot of students from IT, so we want to show them digital. Okay, don't forget about this new era. And a little about the challenges that we encountered. They always say it's a difficult process. Oh, a lot of paperwork. Erasmus is about paperwork, and everything that comes with money, it's a lot of paperwork. And we try to tell them it couldn't be something more simple than applying for Erasmus internship, at least in our university. I know, you have to do something, but it's very worth it. So we try to present them the process as easier as it could be, and also encourage them to speak with maybe incoming trainees that we have, especially in the Erasmus office, but not only, and also with alumni that participated in the past. Further support, I know students help a lot each other, basically because they speak the same language, being young, but also we think that if they have somebody in the office that can, you know, help them during crisis, because we know that during an internship, some bad stuff can happen. I don't know, some problems with the health of the student. He gets a disease. What should I do? Calling. So basically, it makes our job kind of 24/7 because we have people that depend on us, and you have to be available almost all the time. But this helps us because it gives them the feeling that somebody cares about them and they can call and ask for an advice. When it comes to financial aspects, we try to give that 80% as soon as possible. Of course, this depends when the student applies, because sometimes he knocks at our door, he has the form, and he says, Theodora, I'm leaving in 2 days. Where? Is the first question. Where? In Turkey. I'm living in Turkey in 2 days. And okay, that's interesting. But of course, it's like, okay, let's do it. Let's have a little bit of extra hours and let the student follow his dreams. But of course, if the student applies on time, for sure he will get, like, for 3-4 weeks in advance, the 80% of the payment, so he can prepare better his mobility. And a new obstacle that we encountered was during pandemic. First, of course, all the numbers dropped, but also this new way of working, work from home. We had a lot of companies and organizations that we used to work in the past that said, you know, just let your students stay home, we don't need it here. But I was like, yes, but where is the traineeship? I mean, the Erasmus is about mobility, the student must go there. And it was a challenge for us, but thankfully this new program of Erasmus has these mixed mobilities that needs a shorter period of physical mobility, so we don't have to send the student if the organization doesn't want him there for at least 2 months, but at least 5 days, I think it's not that much. Of course, it's not, from what the students say, is not the same experience, but still is a working experience with a different company that is not Romanian and lets the students enjoy also the comfortable life in Romania, but sometimes it's not so good. Okay, and a little bit about what we found out from our students. This would be the number of Erasmus for placement mobilities that we organized during this period from 2016. Since I received all my, as I told you, the stack of paper. Okay, I counted them. How many papers I have? Okay, and a little bit about the numbers. Yeah, I cried yesterday when I did this, and I said, what happened to my placements? We were going very well before the pandemic, but yeah, of course, that year is a little bit 15. There are very few. I can say that those are the most courageous students that I have, those 15 that it didn't matter. What is the unknown for them? Nothing. Nothing was impossible for those 15 students. But since 2 years ago, let's say it's had become 50. Last year we had around 60, and as far as I can see, this year is getting a little better. So maybe not 165, but I hope for 100. This is what I hope. Okay, here is like a map. What students prefer. So far we didn't have internships abroad in other parts than the program countries. So this will be like Turkey is the most favorite one. And yes, in Turkey there are a lot of ISEC projects because we have a long partnership with this student organization, and they have a lot of projects, especially during summer in Turkey, but not only. Also, Greece is a preference destination for our students, mainly because we have faculty of business and tourism, and a lot of them go to hotels in Greece and in Cyprus as well, because they do their like a summer internship, and you know, most of our partnership are in 5-star resorts and hotels, and they see, okay, so let's work and live on big scale. So it's also a place they want to go. Also Spain, and a lot of internships that they go to Spain are found on the platform that ESN provides, an Erasmus intern. A lot of them find internships in Spain there. And also in Cyprus, because they say, again, hotels, but let's live on an island and to mix two cultures at the same time. So this will be the preferences in our students. And okay, what we do, basically, like a small recap, we do all year selection, so we never stop selecting students to go to internship. We have already some partners with tradition for many years that help us, like also intermediate organizations that help our students find internships in other countries. We want to keep it simple, so not to make a big and a very long and boring and exhausting process for our students, and also try to speak your language. In fact, when I was a student, it was easier. Now it's like the students come and tell me some stories. Have you seen that on TikTok? What? So yeah, that's why I have some younger colleagues in my office, and they say, Teodora, you know nothing about virtual life, nothing about social media. You have to start living if you want to continue in this office. So yeah, I think it's important for the Erasmus offices to know what students like, what caught their attention better, so they can promote these opportunities better. So this was what I had to tell you. And if you have questions now, it's okay. If not, later I will be around here.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So now we've seen the institutional perspective, the HEI's perspective, and now, Mr. Cosmin Ali, please. I did I spell that right? I want to make sure.
Yeah,
Cosmin Ali.
right.
Okay. So you're going to talk to us about the student perspective now?
Yes.
Okay. The interesting part. Wait, I will do it for you. I will do it. Just go and tell me when to go next.
Okay.
We have seven minutes basically.
Yeah. I will try my best.
Go for it.
Hello guys, my name is Cosmin. I'm a PhD student at Bucharest University of Economic Studies, and I'm going to talk with you about my Erasmus Plus traineeship journey. It's a very interesting story because so far I studied in Turkey, in Istanbul with Erasmus Plus Mobility. After that, I have another Erasmus traineeship there. After that, I studied in Norway, Oslo for 6 months. And after that, in 2022, July, August, I went again to Turkey in Istanbul with Erasmus for traineeship. Next slide. I made a lot of friends. And the most interesting thing about Turkey, and I am going to talk about Turkey because I went there twice with Erasmus traineeship. And one night I was there with a friend of mine, Aneta, and we were walking to a coffee shop. And there, Zeynep, we didn't know her. She stopped us and she asked us if we know where there is a Starbucks. And we said, no, we don't know where there is a Starbucks. And after that, she asked us if we want to go together to a coffee shop. Usually, if someone will stop me randomly on the street here in Bucharest and ask me where is the Starbucks, I will say where is the Starbucks. But if that person will ask me, do you want to join with me for a coffee? I will say probably 100% no. that we are doing in the normal life. But because we are with Erasmus, why not? So I said yes. And another interesting fact about that is the following one. Last year, in July, when I went back to Turkey, in Istanbul, I met with Zeynep again, randomly, next to Süleymaniye Mosque. Yeah, so, if you want to make unforgettable memories, make new friends, traveling, you must go with an Erasmus traineeship, because there are a lot of opportunities. And now, how did I almost miss the first Erasmus traineeship mobility? Theodora is the chief of the Erasmus office in my university. She doesn't know the story. The only one who knows the story is Nicoleta, who invited me today. But now...
And I know why, because my family name means priest, so he confessed.
Yes. So my first Erasmus mobility was an Erasmus traineeship mobility. I applied for the mobility in March 2019. I fill out all the forms. I send the documents to the Erasmus office. But you know what happened in May 2019? No, actually I have a question for you, and I want you to raise your hands. Have you ever fallen in love with someone, of course?
Controversial
question.
Okay. It was not in the agenda.
That's fine, don't worry. We are Erasmus here.
Don't worry. Okay.
So, in May 2019, I fall in love. Before the traineeship mobility. And at that moment, I also applied for the Erasmus Plus study mobility. So, between July, August 2019, I should be in Turkey with my Erasmus traineeship mobility. And after that, between mid-September 2019 and June 2020, I should be again in Turkey for another mobility. So I decided, let's cancel the traineeship mobility and consolidate my relationship here during the summer. And after that, let's go to the Erasmus study mobility in mid-September.
I can see Theodora is like
so I called the Erasmus office and I told them I want to cancel my mobility. It wasn't a good news for Theodora. She was a little bit upset on me, but you can see. But what do you think it happened in mid-June?
You fell in love.
I can see where this is going.
Yes, I went back to the Erasmus office and I got straight forward to Maria office. And Maria said me something like that. I don't know if Theodora still has your contract anymore, because I know she threw away some contracts. I hope it wasn't yours. And I was something like that. Theodora, do you still have my financial contract? Please say yes. And she said, yes, I have it. And as she said earlier, with 2 days before the mobility, I decided to go to the mobility. It was an amazing experience. And what I want to say to my story is the following thing. If you have someone, talk with that person and go together to the Erasmus mobility. Because in November, I find out from Nicoleta there are I think 1 million babies from Erasmus Plus mobilities. I am not saying to you to make a baby in the Erasmus mobility, but if you do, please fill out the survey. Next slide.
Yes, please, yes.
Now let's get a little bit serious. I will do my best. Okay. So, what are the possible options for students going abroad with Erasmus traineeships? Next slide. In 2019, I went abroad through ISEC. But now I know a better organization. The best organization actually is ASN because they made an amazing platform, as I understand now, and I check it. You can go to Erasmus intern.org and check the amazing experience there. So I go in that period with ISEC abroad in Turkey. They helped me a lot because they offered the support before the mobility and during the mobility. Before the mobility, they helped me with practical information about Turkey, and 6 in the morning, no, actually at 4 in the morning, because I take the bus, I was Ecos or something like that. No, actually the bus tickets are cheaper than the airplane tickets. So I took the bus to Istanbul. It took, I think, around 12 hours. Yeah, I have some amazing stories, but I'm not telling the stories about my travels to Istanbul right now. So you can go to ISEC or another organization, apply there, and go abroad and spend an amazing summer. But if you want to be more serious and to learn more things, you can apply to your embassies. I tried that. I applied to Romanian embassy in United Kingdom, and I almost went to that mobility. Teodora now is looking at me, you didn't go there. Unfortunately, I didn't go there because COVID started, and I canceled that mobility. But for example, if you want a diplomatic career, or if you want to learn more about politics, or what suppose a diplomatic career, you can go to an embassy. Check your embassies, go to the internships website platform on your embassy, and send an email to that embassy. For example, if you are, I don't know, from France, check France embassy in Romania, and for sure they will have an internship program. Also, you can go to your cultural institutes because they need a lot of interns. There is a lot of work to do, as I know from the Romanian Cultural Institute from Istanbul, of course. Also, as my colleague said, you can go to private companies and work. No, that's not modernist slavery. Someone said something like that, but it's not. It's a lot of fun. I have a friend who went to a company, again in Turkey. I don't know what I have with Turkey, but once you go in Turkey, your soul will remain there forever. I will go there again with Erasmus for sure. I don't know why I have the pointer with me because I forgot the ESB part at home. Next slide, okay. Or you can apply through NGOs there. Next one. Okay. Now, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the program? If you apply to an intermediary organization, as it is ASN, you will have an established procedure. Sometimes they will offer to you accommodation. In my case, they offer me accommodation. They will answer to all your questions. They release an already established schedule. For example, before going to Turkey, I already know what I will do there, which helped me a lot. After that, I was there with the team. For example, ISTEC organization from Romania, open a call from Romanians, and we were, I think, 3 persons from Romania which go abroad to Istanbul, and we worked together, and that was pretty fine because at the beginning it's a little bit difficult for you alone to go abroad. The bad part, there are some bad parts, of course. I paid a fee to ISEC, almost I think 200 euros. It's not a big fee, but there is a fee, of course. Also for the accommodation part, I was lucky because in Istanbul I stayed with some students, but other parts of the team stay in a hostel, which isn't which is not the ideal place where to stay if you are going to stay in a city for 2 months. Also, the food, it was a problem with the food, at least in my case, because I don't know, I have a problem with the food, so I should take care with what I ate during the program. Also, high living costs. If you go to Turkey, if you are going to Turkey, don't worry about the living costs because you are going to keep some money from home. In my case, I didn't spend all the grant, so if you want a cheaper country, go to Turkey or other countries where you don't need to come up with some money from home. There is a negative part, weak support. I said about the support, but sometimes there are some communication problems, and it might be my fault, or I don't know. But sometimes I didn't understand well with the Romanian part. I have some problem with the Romanian part, not with the Turkish one.
Okay.
The applying process is very simple. Do you have a CV? Okay, perfect. Now what you can do is to go to erasmusintern.org and find an opportunity, receiving the acceptance letter, making filling up out a form, a specific form from your university, and that is it, I think. And learning agreement, and the learning agreement, which is something established. You just need to fill out with your names and some details about the sending organization and the receiving organization. The process is very easy. Go to an Erasmus abroad. Next one. As I said, it's an easy process. Next one. Yeah, this is my first luggage for going abroad. I was looking for this picture a lot yesterday. If you have any question for me, you can address me. You can address it now or later, as you wish.
Okay. Thank you. So it was very interesting, to say the least. And so we don't have too much time, and we want to be respectful of everyone's agendas and so on. So instead of having these group reflections and so on, which would take like 20 minutes at least, I would suggest each of you, as we basically approach the end, to just stand up very freely, use these sticky notes and the markers, and then to just following some of these questions, you can address 1, 2 of them, however many you want. Just write them on the sticky note, put them here, so it will remain as an output, so we can follow up with our actions, projects, all the sessions, and then that's it. I think that's a good idea to end it. So we can stretch, move, so very freely, and then I would say the session is closed. In the meantime, if you have questions for the speakers, they're here. I mean, we only have 6 markers, so we're going to take some turns for that. And that's it. So thank you so much.
No,